Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? Happy Monday. Let's see. Let's see who's here. Starry Eye. Hello, my darling. Joanna, Britiani, Kev, Donna, Isis. Yeah. No, 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 no. You were not late. StreamYards. So sometimes you have to wait for it to actually work the way it needs to work. But yeah, happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. Yes, happy Moon Day. Donna says, I have the next 4 days off. I'm glad 12 hours is tiring. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hey, growing process. Yes, grand rising. Yes, 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 yes. So, yeah, do me a favor. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. Because, yeah, we're going to talk about the spiritual protection bath today. And I'm going to show you a few things that you can acquire relatively easily so you can kind of make one yourself depending on what you feel is good for you, right? Okay. So yeah, let me just go ahead and turn on the camera. Okay, we're here. Welcome to the kitchen. Once again, welcome to the kitchen. Okay. So, I hope everyone has taken the time to go back and review Spiritual Bath episode 1, where so many questions were answered, right? Spiritual Baths episode 2, which we talked about the spiritual cleansing bath, right? Spiritual cleansing bath. One should be establishing their own spiritual maintenance schedule, right? And the first thing that we start with when we are establishing our spiritual maintenance schedule is spiritual cleansing, right? So we talked about the spiritual cleansing bath last episode. Today we're talking about the spiritual protection bath. So you should be doing these in order, okay? Spiritual cleansing and then the protection, right? We get all the gunk off first, and then we protect our cleansed, pure, um, unfunked, ungunked selves, right? So this is what we do. Donna silly. Are you cute? Are you really? I'm playing. Yeah, so this is what we do. So we're just gonna get right into it. I have a few things here, a few natural items here that should be pretty easy to obtain, except for maybe one. For one of them, you may have to go to, an herbalist, a a store that's very specific with plants and stuff. Maybe Mountain Rose Herbs, or your favorite spiritual worker that does cultivate, raise, and or sell specific herbs and roots. Okay. So yeah. So hey Brittany, she says listening from the clouds, gonna watch playback for later for taking notes. Okay, yeah. So first thing is first. We have talked about salt, right? A bunch of times. Salt is a mineral, it is a cleanser, it is also a protector. Okay. Salt has the duality of cleansing and protection. Okay. Remember, I said last episode that when it comes to doing a lot of spiritual work, you really should just go, like I said, to your grocery store, your BJ's, your Costco, your Sam's Club, and just invest in some salt, some kosher salt, some sea salt, regular table salt. Just make sure it is non-iodized. Okay, we don't want iodine in the salt. So Celtic salt, kosher salt, sea salt, those are going to be my top 3 types of salt, right? for just your general spiritual cleansing and stuff like that. Now, when we start getting into, and it'll depend on if I move into that. I really just want to get you all situated with the basics first. But when it comes to colored salt, stuff like that, you really don't have to do all that. A lot of times, I'm not going to say colored salt is gimmicky, but the natural, the better. So, yeah, your kosher salt, your sea salt, the Celtic salt, non-iodized just salt. It cleanses and it protects. So, once again, make sure you're going out to get yourself some salt. Okay? Some salt. There's no difference between the kosher salt and the regular salt for spiritual protection because it's salt, right? Kosher is just the salt that is aligned for um the religious purposes of the Jewish faith, right? Um, but it's still salt. Even though this is kosher salt, the ingredients is salt. And I'm not familiar with the Jewish faith, but I'm not sure if they pray over it or what makes it kosher. But like I said, this is still just salt. Ingredient, salt. Okay? It's salt. Um, regular salt, like I said, regular salt is sea salt, is kosher salt. Just make sure you stay away from iodine. Iodine does not need to be in the salt. So when you like I said, when we go to the grocery store, we get kosher salt or we get sea salt. We do not want iodine. No iodine. Okay, no iodine. Because iodine is an ingredient that you didn't ask for your spiritual work. Okay, when you are using your herbs and everything like that, you want just your herbs in their plain natural state. Now they may be dried, right? But you just want your herbs. You just want your minerals. You just want your resins. You want everything as it is naturally. Because when you're adding in other stuff, that changes the recipe. It changes spiritually what is going to be done. Iodine is not called for in these spiritual recipes, okay? So this is why we get things as plain and as natural as we can. Okay. Iodine is put into table salt for human consumption purposes, right? But spiritually, we don't need the iodine. We just want salt. So when you start looking around for, your herbs and stuff like that, make sure you are getting just the herb, not the herb plus some oil, not the you want just the plain dried herbs. A good way to get plain herbs is to go to your favorite health food store and look for the teas. Okay. When you get a tea bag, the tea bag is just supposed to be that particular herb. Okay. So that is a tip. So say for example, um, you need ginger for something. Okay. You can go to the grocery store and get ginger tea, right? Because more than likely it's just the ginger root that has been dried and put in a tea bag. Make sure it just says ginger on the tea bag. Okay, so this is a spiritual tip. If you need certain herbs for something, or you don't want to buy a lot of herbs, you don't want to buy a big one, look to your health food store, the vitamin shop. I go into the vitamin shop a lot to get a lot of herbs in tea form and powdered form. Okay, so when you're getting those um supplements and they're in like the little capsules, you can break the capsules apart and just use that powdered herb, right, for your spiritual workings, because the capsule is separate from the herb, but you have to make sure that it's just the herb, not the herb plus something else. You don't need a carrier herb. You want just what you're looking for. Okay, so that is a tip. That's a tip. Hey, Isis. Right. Anything that you put in your recipe can affect the spiritual recipe and the spiritual outcome. This is why we are specific when we're creating our spiritual recipes, because everything has a resonance, has a frequency, and you don't want unnecessary resonances unnecessary frequencies, unnecessary energies when you're working towards a specific goal. Okay. All right. So again, salt, just go get you some salt, regular plain salt. Ingredients, salt. That's all you need. If it's salt plus iodine, put that down and go find the regular salt. Okay? So in our spiritual protection bath, salt is going to be a good base. A good base. Okay? So we talked about the salt. We're going to sit the salt there. Now, if you cook like you say you cook, you should know what this is. These are bay leaves. Bay leaves are very, very good to just have. Salt and bay leaves, okay? Salt and bay leaves, they're very good. So bay leaves, when we're thinking about bay leaves, right? A lot of times we're thinking back to, I'm not sure if it was Roman or Greek, whatever, the success, right? The success. But bay leaves just has this resonance. They're going to add that success element. Bay leaves are going to add a success element to a lot of things that you do spiritually. Okay. I wouldn't add it to say like something detrimental like cursing works, because cursing works that they do it on their own. But bay leaves are going to a lot of times amplify what you are doing because they bring the element of success. Okay. Since we are working to protect, we're going to add some bay leaves in there. Okay. And they do protect on their own, but bay leaves in combination with other things will make a good, it's a good way to amplify things. And there are many other herbs that amplify things or get things energetically moving. But for the sake of this spiritual protection bath, salt, add you some bay leaves. Okay, add you some bay leaves. They bring success, they're very protective, and we want both of these in our spiritual protection bath. Okay. Exactly. They make things manifest quickly for whatever reason. Exactly. That's why I said they're an amplifier. Okay. They're a spiritual amplifier. And again, you can go to Costco, BJ's, your local grocery store. You can go get bay leaves. Dried bay leaves are fine. If you have fresh bay leaves, that's fine too. Most often you're going to find dried bay leaves. That's fine. When you are pulling your bay leaves for your spiritual protection bath, it is going to be good to get the whole ones. Bay leaves that are still whole and intact as much as possible. Okay. So like this guy right here. Still whole, very much intact. Okay. Another thing that you can do with your bay leaves is if when you're adding them to your spiritual protection bath, you can add you can name the bay leaves. So say you want to protect you and like your child. You can name one bay leaf for your child, one bay leaf for you. Make sure that one is bigger than the other if it's going to represent. Or you can just generally work with the essence of numerology and add 3 bay leaves to your spiritual protection bath, right? Because 3 is that level of completion. 3 or 4 will be good numbers. 3 for those who want to work in the Christian paradigm, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, or mother, father, child. 3 is completion, right? Think about a triangle. A triangle is very strong. A triangle reinforces itself. It's one of the most stable structures when it comes to engineering. So make sure we're thinking about numbers, resonance, mythology, all those different things, right? Isa says, what does it mean to burn a bay leaf? So if people are burning bay leaves, a lot of times they are doing manifestation work. So they'll write a goal or something on the bay leaf and then burn it, which is breaking it down from the physical, turn it into the ash, and so that the smoke will kind of, quote unquote, reach the heavens. The smoke can transmute into the ether. But that's a lot of times what people are doing when they're burning bay leaves. They're doing some type of manifestation work. with bay leaves. Um, yeah, she says she's sorry I said I started restudying numerology. Absolutely. Okay, so if a bay leaf is broken, it's not necessarily bad, right? Because when I make my spiritual recipes and like if I'm grinding something into like a powder, because the powders are going to be best for like when you're rolling candles and herbs and stuff, grinding stuff down to like a powder is going to be good. So don't necessarily think that a bay leaf is bad because it's broken. But when we are talking about protection, we want to make sure that they are whole, right? Because we want our protection to be whole, right? If you have a fence around your house and it has a hole in it, well, it's kind of open, right? It's not really doing what it needs to do. So when you're for spiritual protection, you want to make sure that your bay leaves are whole. So don't be afraid to go to the grocery store. And especially like when you're in the Mexican grocery stores, look through the bag of bay leaves. Look through the bag of bay leaves and see, are they mostly whole? Are they mostly crunched up? And it is hard to write on a broken bay leaf. That's why I say you want a good whole one. Look for the big bay leaves too. The big ones, because if you do want to write on them, right? See, like this one is bigger, right? But it is broken. But if you wanted to write on it, you have much more writing space, right? If you wanted to write on it. But yeah, when it comes to spiritual protection purposes, baby, we looking for this is a good whole bay leaf. This is a good whole bay leaf. Again, you could add 3 of them for Father, Son, Holy Spirit, um, Mother, Father, Child, because that's complete. The power of 3, if you want to go that route, that's fine too. Um, you could do 7 because you know the creation stories of 7 days in a week. You could add 9 bay leaves. 9 is a power number. It's 3 times 3. Um, you can do that. So, but just make sure when you're using your bay leaves for protection, you are using whole bay leaves. Okay. All right. Hey, Journey with Corinne. Hey, girl. Okay. So when we're talking about our herbs and stuff, right? Remember, we can also look to names, mythologies, stories where certain things are mentioned, and kind of see what how they are used or referenced in the story. Even look at their names, the names of things. Again, that's going to be a way that you can kind of choose what's good for your work, depending on the work, right? So, something I want to introduce is Santa leaves. Okay. Why Santa leaves? Santa leaves, hoja santa, acuyo. Santa leaves, what does Santa mean? Santa means saint. Saints are aligned with blessed energies. Holy leaves. Holy leaves, saint leaves, leaves that are blessed, right? Those are the connotations and energies around the names, right? So, as you can see, I got this from that very, very lovely Mexican grocery store that I used to visit all the time when I lived in the Atlanta area. Okay. This is where I got these from. So because they are saintly, holy, sanctified, blessed, all that goodness, right? You can use these in your spiritual protection bath, right? Because the protection, as we think about things, when we think about things in our mind, something that is good, wholesome, protected is good divine energy. We're not thinking about quote unquote curses or negativity as a blessing from the divine, right? We don't think about it that way. So when we are, um Again, thinking about names, thinking about the associations, things that are saintly, blessed, um, herbs and stuff that have like blessed, saint, things like that are going to be good for your spiritual protection. Again, make sure if it's something that you're not familiar with, that before you go making yourself a spiritual bath, that you make a little bit of tea and test it on your skin. Test it and see, do you react to it? Because some things, all plants, they're classified, according to their name, their plant type. Some things you may be allergic to, but you don't know. Okay, so um make sure that you look at that. Okay, so Isis says, how are ingredients blessed and how do you go about blessing them? Can you clarify your question for me, Isis? Clarify your question so that I make sure that I understand before I reply to you. Okay. Okay. So yeah, hoja santa. So there's a bunch of different stuff. Blessed thistle. That's just the name of it. Blessed thistle. Okay. I didn't come up with the names, but there is connotation. There is energy around certain words. Okay. Blessed. So blessed thistle will be something good that you can put in your spiritual protection bag. Even Santa leaves. Okay. Yeah, always make sure that you make if you are unfamiliar with some things, make a small, like cup of tea and test it out on your skin. Test it out on your skin or, because you need to know before you start getting into stuff, especially if you want to, include your children in certain things. I would make sure you testing stuff out. Okay. Make sure you are testing stuff out. Okay. So we have 3 right here. I want to introduce something that I don't know if many people thought about, but we have salt here as a mineral, right? It's a mineral ingredient for this. Something I don't think a lot of people think about is, yes, you can add resins to your spiritual workings, your spiritual recipes, right? This is frankincense. Okay, now this is frankincense. Like when people purchase frankincense from me, it comes in a bag like this. But I brought frankincense in because energetically, frankincense, right? If we're thinking about like the popular stories or whatever, myrrh and frankincense were given to what was it, baby Jesus? So when we're thinking about gifts, if something is, you don't give terrible things to people. And being that quote, this was given to Christ in the form of God as a child, right? This is good for that too. But frankincense is very, very much aligned with angelic energies. Okay. Angelic energies. Because of the alignment with the angelic energies, you can put some of these in there too. Now, this is frankincense, and it's, for the most part, it's not really going to and this is frankincense resin. Remember I was talking to you all about like frankincense, it's the sap, right? It's sap, just like dragon's blood is sap, just like myrrh is the sap, right? This is the incense tears. So they call it frankincense tears, things like that. But because of its association with the Christ story, right? And burning frankincense as incense, right? Burning the myrrh as incense. You can use this absolutely in your spiritual recipes, especially spiritual recipes that are quote unquote for goodness. So protection, blessing, luck, stuff like that. Frankincense is going to amplify too. But because it is already aligned with quote unquote God in the form of Jesus, like baby Jesus, it's something really good that you can put in your spiritual protection bath. So let me get back to Isis' question. Okay. Okay, so Isis says, for example, if you have an herb that must be blessed before you do the work, then you bless it yourself. Remember, I said, if we look at nature, elephants begat elephants. So the elephants that are born, right, have the same powers and strengths and abilities as the elephant that it came from. If God created us, we have the ability to bless and create as well. You bless it. You bless it. Use your power, your innate divine spark that's in all of us. Use your power and you bless it. You pray over it. You tell it what you need it to do because you recognize it has energy, frequency, power, just like you do. You do it. You bless it. Now you can have certain spirits. If you work with spirits, aka non-human entities, if you work with spirits, you can have spirits to imbue their quote unquote powers into something to help boost what you are doing. But child, you have powers. Because here's the thing. If you are calling upon, let's say spirits, let's say angels, let's say if you were calling upon angels, why do the angels come when you call them? Because you have divine spark. You think an angel gonna come to somebody who ain't got no power, who don't have any spark? Y'all better start believing that you have power and that you have divine spark in you, because you do. Okay? Because you do. It is in you. We come from the creator. Okay, so Isa says, do you pray over certain herbs, incense, foods, candles in order to bless them? No, you're not being vague. I mean, okay, so Isis, think about it this way. So when people go and they have lunch or dinner, and you see them sit and pray, and they're praying over something, they're blessing it, because what are they doing? They're praying over it. You have the power to pray over, to awaken the spirit of your herbs, your candles, your oils, you have that power. It's not separate from you, okay? It's not separate from you. Okay? When parents are praying over their children, before you go to school, what are you doing? You're doing the same thing. It's not separate from you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not going to necessarily say that you are fearful. I would say that you are unsure, because what has happened in society is that organized religion has told you that you need to go to somebody else for the power. Baby, you have the power. You have the power. You have it. You have the power. Okay? So praying over something, you do it. You do it, right? You get in the car, you want, before you drive on a road trip, you just ask, that you be taken to and from, safely on your road trip. You have it, right? Um, that divineness is in all of us, right? But you have it. So praying over, and the thing that's good about it is that when you are praying over your herbs and stuff for your recipes, you can say whatever you want. You can ask for, them to be awakened however you want. It's really good to write quote unquote your own prayers, spells and stuff like that. That's why I don't necessarily always give people spells, because when someone creates a spell for themselves, their research, their thoughts, their beliefs, their energy, their prayers, their words go into the spell. This is why people can do someone else's spell and it doesn't work for them. Baby, it's not your energy. So when you use your energy to bless things, to do your own spell work, the energy recognizes you because it's yours. And you know exactly what you want when you're saying something, when you're doing something. Okay. This is why I don't give out spells. Now, like I did give out the one, as far as, ladies make the spray so you can get people to spend money on you and stuff like that. That's one thing. But I have never given you all my own prayers or whatever. I teach you how you can word things, but fully directly giving, no, because my energy is different from yours. This is why it's very good to create your own spells, your own workings. Okay. I can't tell you to not be afraid. I can't tell you to go ahead and be confident. You have to get to that place to where you know you are powerful. Once you know you are powerful, once you know that you can shake and move and get things done spiritually, you'll be fine. This is why I also say make sure you are doing the spiritual work, because when you do the spiritual work and then it manifests, right? It's a boost to your belief system. It's a boost to you knowing that you did that, you made that happen. This is why we cannot be spiritual armchair spiritualists. We can't just sit and read about theory forever, 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 forever. At some point we're going to have to do the work. This way, when you do the work, you understand how energies and things work with you. And then you understand if it didn't fully manifest, you can go back and figure it out and make it your own once again. Okay. You have to do the work. You have to believe that you can do the work. You have to do the work. Okay. But this is why I'm teaching, so you can have a foundation and go do the work and see that you can do it. Yes, you can do it. Okay. So getting back to what we're going to put in our spiritual cleansing bath. And again, you can use all of these. You can use some of these. Let certain herbs and things speak to you. Right? Yeah, Starry Eyes said, I started realizing those skills from church are still used. Yeah, they do it all the time. Why would you think that a preacher or a pastor has more power than you? You human too. They don't. They revel in the title. And because they give themselves a title, people give power to them by acquiescing, by bowing down to them because of the title. But baby, you human, you have the same power that they do. If they come from God, you come from God, you have power too. So do your workings. And when you see, like, okay, this happened, you do your work. When the thing manifests, it's not a coincidence. It's because you and your power made it happen through the power of the other things that you used. Okay. Okay. So getting back to this spiritual protection bath. Now, again, remember when I was talking about the energy that aligns with names, myths, legends, stories? Okay. This is Angelica Root. This is Angelica Root that I bought from another spiritual worker because she grows a lot of stuff. Angelica Root. Angelica Root. Angelica. Here we go again, pulling that quote unquote divinity, that power from the angels. Angelica Root is so good for your spiritual protection baths. Okay. Angelica Root is great for your spiritual protection baths. It is especially good if you are trying to protect family as well as children. Okay. Angelica Root. Now you're gonna have to try and find Angelica Root. I think Mountain Rose Herbs sells it. Again, I'm not sponsored by them. I just know that they are a legit herbal supplier that I buy from all the time. They have good, organic, fresh. It's good from there. Angelica Root. Again, we're pulling in the power of how things are named. Angelica Root. It is very good for very good for protection. Here is a quick something that you can put together if you want to burn something for success. Let's say you want to make a quick incense or a quick incense to burn on charcoal for success. Angelica root, bay leaves, and frankincense. Angelica root, bay leaves, and frankincense. You can put those three together and have your own success manifesting incense. Okay. So make sure y'all write that down. And we just talked about why. The Angelica is pulling, the energies from the name angel, the frankincense. So if you want a quick little success incense that you can burn, bay leaves, frankincense, Angelica root. It is going to pow. It is going to help manifest things. So whether you want to pray or sit and chant or however you want to do it, smoke yourself in it, that's a good one. But back to the protection again, this is why we look at how things are named, right? There is power in names, right? There's power in names. This is why, biblically speaking, right? God, quote unquote, gave man, right? Humans, you're to name and deal with all the animals, all the plants, all the earth, right? Because when you give something a name, if someone calls you beautiful, that has a resonance. If someone calls you a bastard, that has a resonance too. Understand the energies and the frequencies when things have names and what we call things. So Angelica root is pulling in that wholesomeness, that goodness, that connection with divinity. Okay. So can Angelica root be burned? Yes. So it's good to, again, like I said, as much as I say their name, I really need to get a sponsorship with them. Mountain Rose Herbs. They sell a lot of herbs in packets like this, dried, cut. They sell a lot of roots that are dried and cut in packets like this. They also sell a lot of powdered version of things. Okay. So can it be burned? Yes. You burn things spiritually on the charcoal. Let me go get my charcoal roll so I can show you what you burn it on. Okay, so when you go to the Botanica, or even you can buy this on Amazon, you go get your charcoal, right? Your charcoal is gonna be a little disc, just like this. This is your charcoal. So when you're burning your spiritual herbs and stuff like that, this is why it's different when you're using the whole plant and the whole herbs that are just pure like that versus using the incense. The incense often comes with the chemical smells, the fake stuff, it comes with the coloring, it's on this stick. But if you are gathering your own herbs, your own resins, and things like that, and you mixing it up, you put it in, you could put it in this part. This is like it has like a little depression right here. And then this part is domed right here. You put it in here or even set it up here. Make sure you're burning this on something fireproof, right? So I have like a little plate that I sit the charcoal on, and then I sit the little plate. I have my altar is this old small bookshelf, so it don't matter if I burn it or not. So I sit this on a little metal plate and I sit this on something else, and then you light the charcoal. It's gonna take a few for it to get hot. When it's ready for you to burn stuff, it's going to turn grayish white. Just like your regular charcoal briskets change color when they're ready, this is going to when it's ready too. And then you just put your little stuff, your little whatever you made on top of it and burn it. You can burn a bay leaf on here, but a bay leaf is not going a whole bay leaf is not going to burn down necessarily to ash. It's going to burn, it's going to tinge, it's going to singe, and you can scatter it after that because you're not setting it on fire. Okay? So this is why when you're working with incenses and stuff, it's good to have your herbs already like ground down into like a powder form, as powdery as you can get when you're burning it on charcoal. But when you're making it like a spiritual bath, the whole leaves and pieces like this are fine because you're not putting all this down the drain. You're just making a tea out of it, and then you're taking the tea for your spiritual bath. So, okay, let me check the chat. Hey, Mel, we're not cooking anything. We did have a full-on dinner yesterday. Mr. Hoodoo made dirty rice. He made dirty rice, macaroni and cheese, potato salad, and we had pork chops. So that was dinner yesterday. I went to the gym this morning. So can Angelica Root be burned? Yes. Again, you can burn it on little charcoal, or you can, here's another pro tip. Go to Target, go to Walmart, go to Amazon. Get a coffee bean grinder. You can put your herbs and stuff in your coffee bean grinder, and it's going to grind it down to a powder. Okay? It's going to grind them down to a powder. I would suggest to have one coffee bean grinder for all of your helpful blessing works, protection baths, spiritual cleansing, money works, success works, luck, stuff like that. Have a separate coffee bean grinder for if you are making stuff to curse. Okay. Have two separate ones. Keep the energies separate. I sure do have a coffee bean grinder. And we don't drink coffee, but I sure do put like my cinnamon sticks and bay leaves and stuff like that. Because ye old way of grinding stuff was using a mortar and pestle, right? This is 2023. We're going to use a coffee bean grinder to grind stuff up. Okay. So just make sure we understand that. But yes, it can be burned. It's better to burn. When you're burning things, it's better to have them in as much of a powder form as possible. No, we're not charcoal grilling. Mel, are you hungry? We're going to get Mel a plate. I'm going to fix you a plate, Mel. Hey, Renaissance woman. Absolutely. Okay, can we put the herbs for the bath in a little sachet so it's not loose in the tub? Absolutely. But when we're making our spiritual, let me just get a pot real quick. When we are making our spiritual, baths, right? We're filling up ye old pot. You're going to fill up a pot. Make sure you go to Goodwill or go to Target, Walmart, get you a pot that's just for spiritual work. You're filling up your pot with water. You're putting your herbs and stuff in the pot with water. You're turning it on low to bring it to a low boil, right? Because you're making a tea. And then you are praying over things, telling the herbs and stuff what you want to do, blah, 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 blah. When your pot of herbs in the water is finished, you've made the tea, you've prayed over it, it's good, all like that. You strain the herbs and stuff off, right? You strain it off, and that leftover water you're going to put into your tub of water, and that's your spiritual bath. And this way, you've already separated the herbs from the water so stuff isn't going down the tub. Now, you can make little sachets if you want to of your combination herbs and do it like that, and then just put the sachet in the tub or put the sachet, however you want it. You can do it like that. Just make sure, you don't want to have a bunch of herbs and stuff, clogging the toilet drain. Okay, plumbers are expensive. So make sure that, you're not doing that. So yeah, there's food. There's food. And we're gonna put the meatloaf together for tomorrow. So right now we have the ground beef out so it can thaw out. Making that meatloaf tonight. We're gonna cook it tomorrow with cauliflower and potatoes, like cauliflower mashed potatoes, and we're gonna have some baby cabbages, aka Brussels sprouts, with this meatloaf tomorrow. It's gonna be fire. Okay. So yeah, how do you dispose of the herbs? You can take the herbs and you can compost them. You can bury them outside. You can put them in the crossroads, or you can simply throw them away. It's up to you how you want to do it. Okay, so Journey with Karen says that the same applies to floor washes. Yes, the same applies to floor washes because there is no point in making a floor wash with all these herbs and stuff like that. And then you mopping the floor and then you got to sweep up herbs after it. Yes, the same does apply. Yeah, absolutely. Right, because we cook, make sure we understand, right? Herbs and plant and animal life here have a few different purposes, right? One, for our human consumption. We eat food, we get energy from it, right? This is where we get energy from. Again, energy, this is why energy doesn't disappear. It just transforms, it just moves from one thing to another. Because when you cook food, whether you are vegetarian or you eat animals, right? Your body gets the energy from what you consume. Okay? You're not holding it in your hand and getting energy. You consume it and you get the energy. That's how we get the energy. That's how it's transferred. Plant and animal life also used medicinally, right? Medicinally. Because let me tell you something. When you go buy glucosamine chondroitin with MSM, like for your joints and stuff like that, if you go read the back label of it, and if you see an ingredient called boswellia on your label, glucosamine chondroitin, guess what boswellia is? Boswellia is frankincense. So a lot of people in the Middle East take frankincense tears, the same one, they make a tea out of it, they drink it, or they make an oil out of it and they rub it on their joints because what? Frankincense is good for joint healing, it's good for like massages, for like arthritis pain, stuff like that. But pharmaceutical companies take the herbs and stuff, and everything that pharmaceuticals are doing is copying what nature naturally does. You just have to figure out what part of nature you need to deal with things. Okay. Okay. So, like I said, if you go get some good, like expensive, like Osteo Biflex, you can go to Walgreens, you go to CVS, you can pull it up. The name, when you see Boswellia on that ingredient list, that's frankincense. It's frankincense. That's what makes it so expensive because frankincense is not cheap. Okay. So, like, for example, and I'm going to show you right here. Let me go grab one of my tea bags. And the queen of tea. The queen of tea. Let me grab one of these. And we're going to, I'm just going to do a quick look into some. Okay. So remember I said that you can use eucalyptus, right, for cleansing. Okay. This is traditional medicinal tea bag. Breathe easy tea bag. So if you can't breathe, why can't you breathe? Maybe you have something obstructing, maybe it's clogged because you have a cold, maybe your nostrils are clogged because you have a cold. What is this? Eucalyptus. The eucalyptus helps remove or lessen or stop, right, the attack on your nostrils respiratory system so you can breathe easy. Eucalyptus cleansing. Okay, we talked about this last time. Right, congestion. When you are spiritually funky, you have spiritual congestion. We don't want that. Okay. Let me grab a right. Inflammation and congestion. We just talked about that last week. So again, when you are um, when you are thinking about your herbs and stuff like that, you are you are thinking about their names, how they're used, right? So again, right? Let me see something. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. Let me go look at something. Okay, so another thing, and this is why I want you all to let me post the last. This is why I want you all to again start thinking about and start understanding how herbs and stuff are used medicinally and stuff, because a lot of times you're going to be able to pull out spiritually what it does. So, for example, here's another good example, right? If you go get let's say cough syrup, right? A lot of times in cough syrup, what will they put in cough syrup? They will put or even like in melatonin. If you go to CVS or whatever, go get you some melatonin. You want to sleep, right? You'll see the quote unquote new melatonin. They're putting lavender and chamomile in the melatonin. Okay, why? Because lavender and chamomile is going to help relax, help you sleep. It's going to bring the peace. Okay, it's going to bring the peace. So if you want to promote peace, gentleness, calmness, burning lavender just by itself will be good. Okay, so make sure that you understand that quote unquote pharmaceuticals and medicines and everything like that are really copying what nature does. Okay, copying what nature does. Okay, so you're getting the benefit from it. You're getting the benefit from it, but with that pharmaceutical spin on things. Okay, this is why your herbs and learning your herbalism is good. Right, natural sleep aids. So you just want to go ahead and get sleepy, have you a good night. Go and take you a shower. Okay, make yourself a cup of chamomile and lavender tea, or just go get the lavender flowers and chamomile flowers. Make a tea out of that and drink it. You're gonna sleep good. You're gonna sleep good, and you've had it all natural without the colors and everything like that. Right, that's right. Mel says lavender is soothing. Right. So again, when you're looking at cough syrup, people want to give stuff to their kids so the kids can go to sleep, or like melatonin and stuff. Watch, go to the grocery store. You're gonna notice that they has either lavender or chamomile in it, or both, to kind of soothe you and make you sleep. But you can bypass that and just go get lavender flowers and chamomile flowers yourself. So, okay, last but not least, in the spiritual protection bath. And this is, I'm going to give you two extra ingredients, but they're going to be for different things. This is rosemary, okay? This is rosemary. Why rosemary? Rosemary is going to be good for amplifying the protection and things like this for women, okay? Rosemary is a feminine herb. Yes, herbs and plants and stuff have their masculine, they have their feminine, or it can be more aligned with just like straight up spiritual. But masculine and feminine, yes, the herbs have them too. Herbs and plants and things like that. We know this, right? We know this, right? Because we automatically align dog with male and cat with female. Take my dog out for a walk. Oh, what's his name? Her name is, right? Automatically assume when they see the dog that the dog is a male. automatically assume when you see the cat, what's her name? No. So we automatically do this. We automatically do this. So even down to our plants, everything like that, they have certain energy frequency resonances, male and female. Rosemary. So if you're a woman or you want to make something like this, for your mom, your sister, or whatever like that, add some rosemary. This the same rosemary that you're gonna make that garlic, herb, rosemary, potatoes, or chicken with. The same rosemary. Go to the store and get it. As you can see, I have a huge container of it that I bought. It's organic. Boom. But as you can see, I have a huge container of it. Rosemary is gonna be for feminine. Now, if you are a man, okay, and you want to put maleness in there, ginseng, right? Ginseng root is going to be good for that. Or as far as men, you can really work with High John the Conqueror root. High John the Conqueror root is male, okay? When you see High John the Conqueror root, you will understand why it's male. High John the Conqueror looks like preserved testicles. Okay, that's what it looks like. High John the Conqueror root looks they're hard, quote unquote balls, literally, maybe about the size of a walnut, possibly bigger, um, depending if you have a good one. Some of them are kind of teardrop shaped, but they're wrinkled. They look like wrinkled, you know, men, you know your anatomy. You know what the testicle sac looks, it's wrinkled, right? I'm married, it's wrinkled. High John the Conqueror root is very much aligned with male power and is going to give that protection too, especially when we're talking about dealing with male energy. It is also a root of power overall. So, men, if you want to, try to bring forth more assertiveness, more courage, more, you a boss wherever you go, High John the Conqueror root. Okay, but you can, like I said, aligning things, just making it a very quote unquote male bath, male energetically powered bath, High John the Conqueror root. Ladies, for your protection and really increasing that feminine, rosemary. Okay, and the rosemary is more aligning with Mary, quote unquote mother of God. So yeah. So spiritual protection bath. Again, you can use all 5 of these, or you can use 3 of them. I would say use at least 3 of them. So if you want to do salt, bay leaves, Santa leaves, that's fine. If you want to use salt, bay leaves, frankincense, that's fine. I really, really suggest that you make sure that salt is your base for your spiritual protection bath. So salt and 2 more of these. Okay. Any questions? Isa says she loves rosemary. Journey with Corinne says, yep, it does. Donna says it looks like balls. Or now orris root. Orris root is for ladies, okay? Orris root is for ladies. Okay. Orris roots are Iris germanica. It's the root of the iris plant. Orris root is for ladies, okay? So ladies, if you really want to up your feminine power, you need an orris root, a dried orris root. Let me see if I can find one. I don't know if I have one over here. I think I do. Let me see if I can find an orris root real quick. But it's dried, it's very hard. Orris root is going to play up your feminine power. So for those who want, you know what I'm saying? Remember, back to my spiritual spray. I said put orris root in it, right? All right, let me see if I can find an orris root. I think I have one, but I'm not sure. So I did find orris root. Okay. I found my orris root. I literally have like 2 boxes over there filled to the capacity with herbs. So this is a whole orris root. Okay. This is a whole orris root. It's hard. I'm trying to break it. You can't really break this. Okay. This is an orris root. Yes, it's wrinkly, but this is not male aligned. Orris root is like if you some pure female power, some feminine power. Um, get you some orris root powder and some rosemary and maybe some bay leaves and mix that together and burn it for feminine power and like feminine success. For men, if you want just power, you need a Hyjon root, Hyjon the Conqueror root, also called Jalep root, Jalep root, and mix that with some bay leaves, and that's gonna give you some power. But yeah, no, this is an orris root. This is just for showing you. Orris root, feminine power, feminine energy. This is Moon. This is Venus right here. Very, very good for feminine energy. It is used in quote unquote a lot of love spells, love work, romantic love work. Just gonna do it here. But I'm just showing you all just to show you this because this is not really for a protection spell. I'm just showing you all to show you like what a orris root looks like. Notice they have like these little nodules and stuff like that on it. Yeah, this is the dried root of the Irish Germanic plant. So, all right. Jezebel root, I mean, it is good. Jezebel root is going to bring more like power and stuff sexually and like money. Like people who are like sex workers use Jezebel root. Do I towel and dress in white after the bath? Depending on the bath, but I like to, after my spiritual bath, I like to put on light colored clothes, light colored clothing, right? Morning glory. Let me see. Because for the most part, let me see if I can what is the scientific name of jalap root? Okay. Jalap root is yeah, jalap root is really good. I'm not sure what the flower is because we really don't use the flower. What's the scientific name? Okay, so yeah, it is a species of morning glory. Yes, it is. But we really don't use the flowers, we use the root. Okay, we really don't use the flowers, we use the root. And let me show you what the root look like, baby. Uh, let me show you what the root looks like. I'm gonna have to share this screen real quick. But yeah, it looks like, oh yeah, this is a good picture right here. So let me go StreamYard. Let me go present, share screen. Okay, can you see? Can you all? Let me see if you all can see that. Let me see if it comes on over. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, do you all see this? You see this over here? Yeah, you see this purple over here? This is what Hyjon root looks like. Also called jalap root, but it is from it is part of the species of morning glory. But when you're working with Hyjon, you want this. This is what you want. Yeah, most things that are roots, they're coming from a flower. Like you don't just get like roots are attached to something. Things grow from roots. So Hyjon does come from a plant. But when you have the root, this is what you want. You see how the root is hard, it's all wrinkly like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, when you're working with high John, you really just want the root, not necessarily flowers. This is where the power comes from. And these are hard. So this is where you get strength and power from, because when they're dried like this, I'm talking about they are hard. The only way to really powder or get pieces of John the Conqueror root, you have to go outside and put it in a Ziploc bag, a couple of Ziploc bags, and you have to crush it with a hammer. And I remember the last time I had to crush some John the Conqueror root, I went outside. I apologized to the root before I broke it down. I literally was outside on the side of my house with the John the Conqueror root in his bag, in the Ziploc bag. And I apologized to it before I was cracking the shit out of it with a hammer. That's the only way you're going to get the John the Conqueror root in pieces. You can't even put it in your coffee grinder. It's too hard for that. You literally have to go out there and bust it with a hammer. That's how strong it is. That's how powerful it is. Because it look like balls, this is why it's really, really aligned to male nature, maleness, and power and strength for men. Now, ladies can use it, but if they start calling you a bitch because now you bossy, now you assertive, this is why. But yeah, this is why. So yeah. I thought most roots were vegetables or weeds, not flowers. No, I mean flowers have roots. So it really depends on the part of the plant that you're using. For example, right? For example, we bought cauliflower, right? We went to the farmer's market on Saturday to get some fruits and vegetables for the week. We went to the farmer's market. When you see cauliflower, a whole cauliflower, it's like a big root ball thing. A whole, let me just show you the cauliflower. So I'm making a point here. So cauliflower, right? This is our cauliflower. So you see this? This is the root. This is the root. All plants they grow from some type of roots, right? So this is the cauliflower, right? You see these little leafy roots and stuff like that. So we're not going to eat this. We're not going to eat these parts. We're going to have this part. So depending on what you're eating, you may be eating the flowers, you may be eating the roots. So when we're eating this is the flowered part. We're not eating this root. So when you're working spiritually with herbs and stuff like that, sometimes you may be using the flower, sometimes you may be using the leaves, sometimes you may be using the roots. Okay, does that make sense? Is Jezebel root edible? I wouldn't eat it. Orris root, I would not use orris root for lust. Orris root is more for love, romantic love. Okay. You want some lust, then you add other stuff to it. Two different things. She says, cue your description and send to me. Yes, it won't work in a grinder. You literally have to take like a hammer to it or something. The roots are very, very hard. So, like I said, when you're working spiritually, even working medicinally with things, you are working with either the flowers, the leaves, or the root, right? So it just really depends on the plant that you're working with. Okay. But John the Conqueror is the high John the Conqueror root is the root. We're not using the flowers. Okay. When we're working with orris root, notice it's orris root. We're not working with the pretty flower that grows on top. We're working with the root. When you are using bay leaves, obviously you're using the leaves. You're not using, the stems that it comes off of, right? When you're working with roses, for the most part, you were either working with the rose petals, the rose petals or the rose buds, right? You're not really working with the stem of the rose. So just make sure that we're thinking about things in practical application as we apply things spiritually. I would not. Donna asked, can we add juniper berry to transmute the negative energy to the bath? I would not. I would not. You add juniper berry, you're gonna be getting something completely different. Okay. So, did I answer everyone's question? Everyone has knows they can go get these things for their spiritual protection bath. Make sure you do a test first, right? Make sure we're doing a test first before we do things, right? Right, right. Okay, Journey with Corinne says, so can other parts of certain plants be used for different things, like the root for one or the flowers or the vines for another? Yeah, they can. Just make sure you are knowing what you are applying spiritually, right? Because different things have different resonances, right? So remember, like when we're using roots, that is where the plant gets its power from, its stability from. It's connected to the earth via the roots, right? Oftentimes when we are using flowers for things, right? The flowers are there, they have power too, but it's a different type of power. So like a lot of times when we're thinking about like beauty baths and stuff like that, we want the pretty of the flower, right? To aid in the beauty because flowers are pretty, right? So it just really, can you use it? Yes, obviously we use in different roots and stuff, but when it comes to the plant, and say for example, if you going for like the way that it's used magically, I would stick to the way that it's used magically. So if a certain recipe is calling for the root of something, I would stick to the root of it. If it says use the flowers, I'm going to use the flowers. If it says use the leaves, I'm going to use the leaves. Now, if you want to find out how using the leaves versus the stems versus the vines work, you're going to have to do that magic. You're going to have to see how it turns out. You're going to have to do that magic and see how it turns out. Absolutely. You can use rose thorns for cursing. Now, as far as obsession work, I don't never do an obsession work. I'm telling you all right now, do not do obsession works. Don't do them. Okay. Obsession work is going to go left real quick. Do not do an obsession work. If you do one and you don't listen to me, you are on your own. Okay. All I'm going to tell you to do is go spiritually cleanse and try and fix it. Never, ever, ever do an obsession work. They can go left really, really quick. Do not do obsession work. Okay. Never, ladies, men, don't do obsession work. Okay. You're going to end up with a left eye, somebody burning your house down. You're going to end up with a stalker. You're going to end up with the man, the woman coming up to your job. Never ever do obsession work. Okay. It's going to drive them crazy. They're going to take it out on you. Never ever ever repeat after Q. I state your name. Will never ever do obsession work. Okay. Never ever do obsession work. It is. Venus is okay. So this is a good question. Donna asked, why did the Venus color association change from red or green to pink? Okay, so when you're looking at art, there are primary colors and secondary colors. Okay, the color never really changed. You have to look at primary colors and secondary colors. Okay, when you're looking at the color palette, right? But the green, when we're talking about green with Venus, we're talking about green being aligned with spiritual entities, right? The red and the pink comes from Venus's association with love and how we associate red and pink with love, sexual love, and romantic love. Okay. No, 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 not even a dabble. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. Do not do obsession work. Do not do obsession work. Do not do obsession work. You may want someone to feel like how you did. You may want someone to just want you and you don't want them just like you wanted them and they don't want you and you think this is a good way to pay them back. Don't do obsession work. Never, ever, 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 ever. If I died tomorrow and I find out you're doing obsession work, I'm coming back to haunt you. Do not do obsession work. Don't do it. Don't do it, okay? Do not do obsession work. prime example of obsession work that goes left. We all saw the movie The Craft back in the day, the original one. You saw what happened. Dude started getting crazy. He started coming outside her house, throwing rocks. He just want to be with her. He tried to take her off in the car. You know, that could have been a grape situation. Do not do obsession work, okay? Don't do it. This I have warned you. Don't do obsession work. I'd rather you do a cursing work before you do obsession work. That's how bad obsession work is. Don't do it. Okay. Any other questions before I end the stream? Because baby, we're gonna be reading on I gotta read on Shirley Strawberry too. I gotta see what's going on with Shirley Strawberry. So that's probably coming a little bit later on today. I gotta start some laundry real quick, but we're gonna be reading on Shirley Strawberry today. So we're gonna see what's going on with Miss Strawberry and see if Spirit got any messages for her. So any other questions before I get ready to end this? Yeah, Slowberry. Any other questions? I need a sip of water. My water's across the way. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. I'm going to, oh, there's a huge delay. And yeah, I'm wearing like 3 shirts because I'm cold. Yeah. We're gonna, and when we do Shirley Strawberry's reading, I'm really gonna pull some messages from Spirit first before we start getting into questions from the chat, because I really feel like I really hope that she pays attention. I really hope that she sees this, because I really do want the best for her, but she's gonna have to get these spirit messages how they come. Okay. Mel said, can y'all save me a plate for later? You know, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Mr. Hoodoo's gonna be hungry when he come home. But you know, next time we have a good plate, I'm gonna save you a plate, boo. And he made more chocolate chip cookies last night. So my nightcap was 2 chocolate chip cookies and a glass of milk. So that was my nightcap last night before I went to bed, which is why I got up and did my almost 3 miles this morning. Well, yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm gonna do all that too. All that stuff is coming this week. Donna says, when, if you do a Diddy part 2, that stuff is coming this week. I just had to get through the weekend. Yesterday I had an outing I had to go to. And it was so crazy because yesterday at the outing, I was talking with Journey with Corinne. I was talking to her yesterday. Why at the outing, this man was trying to pick me up. I mean, he was just falling all over me. Yes, I'll do this for the most beautiful woman here. Who can say no to you? You're so irresistible. So when I left my outing yesterday, I had to make sure I ducked and ran to my car, because the man was just out of this room full of all these women. He just decided he wanted to fixate on me. So I had to duck out. Like, oh my God, like he was waiting for me at the stairs. He was waiting for me. So yeah, I had to duck out yesterday. So I'm like, it ain't even my time of year yet. It's not even Pisces season yet, but I was cute yesterday in my fuchsia stiletto heels. But that's it. That's all. We are going to do Diddy part 2 this week. We're reading on Shirley Strawberry today. We got to start getting into Flora had asked me to look into the industry, why the slow drill rappers expose themselves in their songs. So the readings are coming this week, and definitely another spiritual bath video this week. So make sure you stay tuned to this channel, turn on your notifications, and make sure you're ready when the time comes. When it's time to assemble, make sure y'all riding out when it's time to assemble. Okay. Yes, he did put butterscotch chips in them. Donna Jazz says, because you're a beauty. You haven't seen me, but yeah, I am kind of cute. No, I am pretty and very attractive. Y'all haven't seen me, but Journey with Corinne has seen me. She can attest that I am very pretty. Yeah, so hey, Auntie Sugar, that's it. That's all. I'm gonna go because I need to do some stuff around the house, and then we're gonna be back for a reading on Shirley Strawberry. So make sure you all stay tuned, like this video, share this video, all that good stuff. Yeah. all that good stuff. So I will see you all a little bit later. I love y'all. Rogue C, did I see your email? I have to let me look at my email right now before I even who is texting me? Wait, hold up. Who this? Child, Let me let me check my quote unquote work email on this phone. Rogue C. Oh, gotcha. Yes, yes. Thank you for that. I do have your email, Rogue. See, I'm gonna write you back. I didn't forget. I have it flagged here. I'm not gonna say your name here publicly, but I see your email here. I'm gonna reply to you. So yeah, I got you. I got you, Rogue. See. No, no, no. It's all good. You did right. You did right. Like I said, my weekends usually get busy, and I'm usually like laying around doing nothing. But yeah, I got you, Rogue. See. So we're gonna get it together this week. Okay, y'all. So I'm gonna see y'all a little bit later because we're gonna be reading on Shirley Strawberry. Poor thing. Poor thing. All right. See y'all later. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all soon.